Hey lovers, welcome to another episode of Choo 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 as this.
Am I really that much handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camera. You don't really to throw you up.
You know what time it is. It's the time for us to talk, to gist, to relate, and for me to remind you that you're the main character in your life story. Because if not you, then who? Today, I'm going to talk about something a bit more different than the usual. Speaking to people who feel like it's too late to get into the content creation journey. I know that it seems a bit far-fetched for me to talk about it, but I promised myself that if I ever decided to do this, I was going to be as relatable as possible to the things that I'm struggling with and to the things that I know that a lot of people are struggling with, regardless of how far I'd gotten in my journey, even if I was just beginning. So look at me, a beginner in social media and in content creation, talking about the struggles of content creation. Isn't that ironic? Because you would think I shouldn't have so much experience. It's something you should leave to people who have been in it for years, talk about it because they have become a voice to listen to. But the truth is that nobody talks about the amount of imposter syndrome you experience after making a video. You're not sure if it's good enough because, first of all, you are starting out something that you feel is already too late. Probably starting out content creation in your 30s and you feel like you're too late because it's already an industry that is full of young influencers. You're probably that kind of lady who's not very aesthetical. Like, you're not somebody who's crazy about aesthetics. You do what is comfortable, dress for comfort, stylish but comfortable, you don't do too much. Now you're trying to get into a career that is very particular about visuals. It's very particular about how you present yourself. Meanwhile, all you are is somebody who's got a lot of things to share, a lot of experiences, stories, and hope that people will be interested in hearing your stories or getting into what your everyday looks like. What your experiences across various things looks like, across relationships, across career, across work. You're just trying to get people to see life from your own lens, from your own perspective. And then it's like, oh, you're moving into a career that says, oh, even if you want to tell us about your life or your perspective, you have to look a certain way. And it's so funny because when you go into the comment sections of a lot of people, they say, oh, you're always showing us all the good things, we want to see the bad things. But when you are starting out, they don't want to see you all crusty. They don't want to see you in the bad things. They don't want to see you struggling. They want you to appear to have it all figured out, appear to know what your left or your right is, appear to be balling, to be crossing your T's, dotting your I's, making the bags long enough to the point where they're like, oh, you're too successful. I don't like to see you successful anymore. I want to see you struggle. That's what it's like. But I don't think that it is not impossible for me to talk about struggles. Being a content creator with probably less than 500, not necessarily less than 500 followers, but across all my platforms, I've got 1,000 something here. I've got 500 something here. I've got about another 500 and something here. On Facebook, I've got about 3,000. So basically, I'm still a baby content creator. A baby. But does it mean that I don't have struggles? Does it mean that it's not something that I have to fight every day to say that you are enough to put your face out in camera? You are enough to tell your story? And you are enough to let other people see the world through your eyes? Because sometimes I just think about it. You're so excited, do something. You probably make a content of over 17 minutes. It's not 17 minutes. You went on a vacation, for instance, and you made multiple videos, you finally made a blog about it, and you're so excited, like, oh, I did this, and you put it out there, and you're like, why does the views or the likes not commensurate with the energy I put into it? Why is the likes and the following not matching with the effort? Do these people not know that it took me so long? Do they not know that every time I put my face out there, I'm struggling? Like, I'm not that confident. I'm just borrowing confidence. For lack of a better word, I'm being delulu about where I'm at. I'm just hoping that my delulu would push me long enough to actually make a proper career out of this. Just hoping that my delulu pushes me enough till I find my own community, till I find my own people, till I find people who can resonate with my voice and resonate with my experiences. And it's also as relatable to them because those are their own struggles, or that's where they are. That's their lived experience. I'm just trying. I'm just searching. And you see, the funny thing is this, it's not even just in social media and content creation. I mean, it could be for anything. Are you trying to get into a career path where you've probably been doing something else for the past 15 years? But you know that you are tired of that point where you are at and you want to start something new. You want to get into a career and it feels like as though you have transferable skills, but you have to learn a lot. Imagine moving from something very conventional to tech, and you are longing to be a cybersecurity personnel. You're longing to be a software engineer, a back-end developer, but you've been in a conventional, probably been a teacher for 15 years. It feels like as if you're going over your head to do something and you are struggling. So I don't think that it is ironic or it is wrong for me to talk about the struggles of content creation as a content creator with barely any followers, because I'm going to call myself that. The fact that I make a content and I put it out there for other people to reach is content creator, whether it's blown or not, or whether I've gone viral or not, it doesn't take anything. I'm still a content creator. So I think that I can't talk about my struggles. Can you relate? I don't know. I'm hoping that you relate to it, most definitely. But this is what I'm going to say, because beyond the fact that I've listed a bunch of things that I'm sure that a lot of people relate to, even if they're probably not gonna respond to because I'm not that big name yet, which eventually I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna have my community. But this is what I've decided to do. I've decided to be audacious with my Delulu. Every single day I'm gonna show up. I'm going to put myself out there. And I want you to do that too. I don't care whatever sector or industry you're getting into. Because if there's one thing we agreed to do this 2025 is to level up. And level up only. Financially, mentally, physically, emotionally. People promise not to date the deadbeat men that have been coming. And you have thrived. So I'm trying to tell you now is this. As I am doing it, I hope you do it too. Because I'm doing this video for everybody who feels that they are not enough to get into that new career path. Who feel like they are not built physically for that new career path, who feel like their face is not something that people would want to register and then follow, who feel like they are not aesthetic enough to be a social media influencer or a content creator. This is what I'm making this video for. I want you to be delulu enough. That lady who says, I want to get into the career path. I may not have so much experience, but I have transferable experience. I'm a hard worker. This video is for you. I want you to be delulu, to be audacious, because like somebody that I like to follow said, it's a time when you're building a community. And when you're building that community, this is what happens. In that beginning stage, you're probably going to be the only person in the community. You're going to be the only person sharing yourself. You're going to be the only person liking. You're the only person reposting. But you have to show up enough for people to start to put their likes on you. For people to be able to put their finger on you. You have to show up enough for them to know that you are serious with your business. You are serious about what you want out of life. You are serious about the fact that this new career you're venturing into, it is either you get it or you get it. I want you to be delulu, to be so delusional that nobody can take it away from you. I'm going to give you a very relatable story that happened to me. So I've always wanted to relocate out of Nigeria. I feel like it's one of the things. I'm always being the kind of person that says that if you've not traveled the world, I don't think you are fully learned, because all you learn inside the book is somebody else's perspective. Your learning is going to be complete when you can travel the world and have your own perspective to what you have learned from somebody else's perspective. Do you get my flow? So I've always wanted to travel out. And then a lot of things happened along the line. When I started to do it, I lost a lot of money because I decided to get into some form of investments that did not pan out. And then it felt like I was going to start afresh. I moved cities, or rather I moved states, hoping to be able to find my feet again and then, start on my journey to move out. But it felt like the more I tried it, the more it was eluding me. But I didn't give up. And then one day, I bought a pair of Crocs shoes. And I brought it home that day. And I remember that my sister and my friend thought I had just gotten a new shoe because I wanted to go somewhere. But I wasn't wearing it. I put it in my box with the nylon wrap. I didn't tear it open. And they asked her why, what happened? And I said, oh, that's my fate shoe. Crazy, right? That's my fate shoe. And they said, what do you mean by fate shoe? I said, that shoe is the shoe I'm going to. It represents what I'm going to wear when I'm leaving the country, Nigeria. And they laughed. And they didn't laugh at me because they were saying, oh, I'm sure they laughed because I was crazy. They laughed because they saw the present situation that way. They laughed because they knew what was happening at that point in time. They laughed because they did not understand how I could come up with such a madness and then act on it by buying something to represent what it meant to me. And when it was time for me to leave that country, did I wear that shoe? No, I wore something else. Did it come with me? Yes, it came with me. But this is what it was. It stood as my faith shoe. And it stood as something that every time I opened my bag, I looked at that shoe and I realized and I remembered what it was I was walking towards. And I held on to it and held on to the word of God, His promises. But that shoe was my point. That I was going to be delulu with my faith till I achieved what it is I wanted. Till I left that country, till I began to travel. I was going to be delulu with that faith, and that shoe was to represent my deluluness. So I'm coming here to tell you today, I don't know what it is that you're struggling with. I don't know what it is that you really want to do, and you are standing by the door because you think that the people who are already in that industry, the people that are already content creators, the people that are already in tech, the people that are already in that business don't look exactly like you. They don't look and they don't operate like you. You are not as aesthetic as they are. You don't have anybody. You don't have the connections. You don't have anybody. I want to tell you today that you should bet on yourself. And I'm going to keep coming every time to tell you to bet on yourself till you start clapping for yourself and I eventually start clapping for you. Be delulu with yourself. Be audacious enough because fortune favors the bold. If you can stand and weather the storm enough, be happy that you did it. You will be happy that you did it. So what do you have to do today? Stand up. Start that course. Finish that course. Read that book. Send that message. Reach out to that recruiter. Reach out to that community. Make that content. Carry your phone and make that first video and post it. Tomorrow, make another video and post it, regardless of how ridiculous you look like. You don't have to make up every time. Your community will find you. Because I'm hoping that they find me too. So let's hold our hands and do it together. But I want you to post that video. Post it. Send that message. Send that email. And I hope that you know that you are enough. Because until you start betting on yourself, nobody else is going to take the risk to bet on you. Particularly if you do not have a name that opens doors. God has given you everything that you need to be more than enough. I just want you to look inwardly. Reach out and start. Because you do not know the harvest or you do not know the planting that will yield seeds. But I promise you, you have more chances of knowing if you start trying. Welcome. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And I hope that you have learned something today. Bye.